This is Alex with Deep9 Design, and I'm going to be running through how you can use Tracker video analysis software to analyze your throwing form and measure your disk speed. Tracker is available for Windows and Mac, and it's free and open source. You can download it from their website, physlet's.org/tracker, or find it by just Googling Tracker video analysis software. This is a fairly capable software for capturing motions in videos. You can measure speeds, positions, get scales, all sorts of things like that that you might want to use motion tracking for. But in our case, we can use it to track disk speed, which is a neat tool if you don't have access to a radar gun. First things first, you're going to need your video. And so let's talk about what makes a good video here. So you're going to want to record at whatever the highest normal recording frame rate your phone has. In my case, I'm recording at 60 frames per second. This gives me enough frames to capture a few shots of the disc in the air as it's flying. You're going to want a nice contrasted background to your disc. In this case, we got a lot of nice green from the trees and the grass. This helps us see the disc in the individual frames. We've got good lighting. You're going to want that throw path to be perpendicular to the camera, with the shot being centered right about on where you're going to release that disc. You're also going to need a scale of some sort. In this case, I'm using a section of PVC that I know is exactly 2 feet, and I've got this in line with my throw path, so I've got it directly below where I'm going to be releasing the disc and generally in that direction. This is going to give us something to measure the distance between our discs and frames against, and something to set our scale in the Tracker software. With all those considerations, you can go ahead and open up your Tracker software once you've got it downloaded. From there, you're going to click Video, Import, and import the video you took of your throw. Here we can go ahead and zoom in to our scale. This is the first thing you're going to want to do. Sorry about this, I'm doing it on my trackpad. There we go. And it automatically sets your units as meters. In this case, I like to do it in feet, just because I know that section of PVC is exactly 2 feet long. So you're going to go up to your coordinate system, units, and select that as feet. From here, we can take our calibration stick and move its endpoints to the endpoints of our scale. Zoom into your video so you can really line that up there. There we go. And in my case, that is 2 feet. Now zoom back out and move over to where the throw is starting. And in this case, I cropped my video so that it is starting right as I begin to throw, but we can scroll forward a few frames here. Alright, so now we have the disc in the frame, and we can start to track it. So in order to do this, you're going to go up to your Track, New, Point Mass. We're going to select the front edge of the disc, the frontmost point on the disc, and call that a point mass. That'll give us the ability to track the disc as it's moving through the throw and then through the air. And we can insert our first point where that front edge of the disc is located by clicking Control and Shift at the same time and placing that on the front edge of the disc. Over here, you're going to get an auto tracker. This is going to try and visually find that front edge of the disc on the next frame by looking for a like section of the image. In a lot of cases, because your hand's moving around it, you do have to guess where this is and do it by hand. I'm going to get a few points here. Once we've got a few of those points tracked, you can start to figure out how to see what your velocity is in between those points you've selected. Go down to your table in the bottom right section and select columns. From there you can select your velocity, and that's your velocity in feet per second. This is based on your frame rate. Make sure that the frame rate of the video you took matches the clip settings frame rate. In our case, it imported at 60 frames per second, which is correct. And one other thing you may want to do here is define a new column. I like to have my velocities in miles per hour rather than feet per second. It just makes it easier to compare to some known values. And in order to do that, you have to add a function that converts your velocity in feet per second to your velocity in miles per hour. So let's call that function vmph. And once you've entered that, you can just click enter to close out the text box. And the formula for that is your velocity in feet per second divided by 1.467. Enter again, you'll enter that expression. You can close this and now select your vmph column. I've done this with all of the points in this video on this tab, just to show you what that might look like. So as you skip through the video here, you can see as the disc passes these points, it highlights it both on the video and in the table over here. So that way you can know at what speed the disc was moving at any given time in between these 2 points. Here you can see that I accelerate through the beginning of the throw, reach a maximum of 62.25 just at the release, and then because I'm throwing at an angle slightly off from the line of the scale, the disc is getting further away from the camera, and we are seeing the distance between these points drop. This velocity drop isn't due to air resistance or anything, that's just the disc getting further from the camera, and there is a little bit of wiggle room when you select these by hand. You're trying to get close, but it can be difficult. You get a fairly accurate, I would say that this is accurate down to at least 1 or 2 miles an hour. You're pretty close on what you can do. Another thing you can do with this software is draw some lines on it. This is helpful to see where your chest was pointed or what kind of line you have from your head down through your body. This is useful if you're trying to analyze your throw a little bit here, and you can compare that to some pros. I've done that here with Eagle's forehand. Probably not the best thing to compare my forehand to. He's quite a bit taller and longer than I am, but I've got this video from one of his vlogs, and here he's throwing a cloud breaker, and you can see I've mapped it through the throw. Using his disc here actually as a scale because there wasn't any other known distances that I could see in this video or anything. Bring this back a little bit. You can see that I've used the diameter of his DD3 roughly as a scale, and that he hit a maximum of 77.19 miles per hour. I've also kind of mapped his head and foot position a little bit here as well, along with the angle of his body and his chest. This is really useful if you want to analyze your form or measure your throwing speed, but either forehand or backhand. I'm Alex with Deep9 Design, and I hope this was helpful.